Members, let's resume. I will first make a ruling. We checked the video, we checked the recording, and indeed, Dr. N. Chang again said Mr. Gary Fan is shameless. According to the 2004 ruling, claims of shameless is deemed insulting. So I asked Dr. N. Chang to take back her words. For the second accusation, I think Dr. N. Chang did not again make that claim at this meeting. Ms. Tanya Chen, what is the point of order? Just now, before Dr. Junius Ho left conference room 1, he said, I have a brain illness, and apparently he said, well, there was a suspended sentence, and apparently he said all our brains have problems. I consulted Mr. Leung Yiu-chung. Such claims of that other people are ill is certainly an act of discrimination. I don't know what he intended to express. If he learned from the news that I had a brain tumor, but it was a fact, but I have recovered, although I still needed to visit the doctor. I wonder what he meant by saying I have a brain disease. Did he hint that my brain cannot function as usual? I hope it was a sincere remark, and I thanked him already. I urge him not to discriminate patients. Many of them are still at work. Some might have physical handicaps, and they might have a history of illness. But this should not form the basis of flames. So patients who have recovered should not be subject to such words. I think any kind and sincere person would hope for a patient to recover. So I don't understand the intent of Dr. Junius Ho. If he wanted to confirm my health condition, I am happy to talk to him, so I would be able to understand his sentiments and what he was trying to say. I'm very happy to share my current state of health. Like I said, Dr. Junius Ho again said something highly insulting, not just towards another LegCo member, but towards the public as well. I asked him to take back his words, but he is currently not here, so we shall wait till he returns before we deal with the relevant issue. We now go back to the 6 letters. A few members are waiting to speak. Mr. Ray Chan, Ms. Claudia Mo, Ms. Asmac. Mr. Charles Mok, what is the point of order? I have a question.
Well, usually, when a member has been asked to retract some remarks that have been regarded as insulting or offensive, the member simply walks out. So, when such a member returns, will you deal with that, or you just leave it as it is, so that we can't deal with it again? I just want to check this with you. Otherwise, if this is allowed to happen again, then it means that the ruling is not going to be effective. Yes, clerk, please tell us about the procedures. If a member thinks that the comment made by another member is offensive, then this should be raised immediately as a point of order, and it has to be dealt with within the same meeting. So Mr. Charles Mock did raise a point. Well, it has been dealt with immediately. However, if he comes back again, when he comes back, there's no need to deal with it again, right? That's another meeting. So the chairman cannot ask a member to retract comments made at the previous meeting, and if he refuses to retract, evict him. Logically, it doesn't stand. So we need to be wise. Now, if somebody would like to repeat the offense again and again, then he can have his way, and I don't think it is the proper way to deal with things. Ms. Claudia Mo, if I may also provide some information to you. You told us that the EOC issued a press release to censure or condemn Junius Home. I also wrote to the EOC. I know that members' remarks are safeguarded or protected by the Electrical Powers and Privileges Ordinance, and therefore the EOC cannot take any action against Junius Hall, but it is only natural for the EOC to issue a press release to condemn him. Well, Chairman, I find it most regrettable in relation to the performance of our members, particularly the so-called establishment camp members. It is so low, so base. Usually, they dare to make a comment, but then they dare not admit it. I hesitated whether I should refer to it or not, but I think it is quite despicable. Someone would point a finger at you, make certain criticisms, and then just walk out and won't care at all whether it is being ruled one way or other. Now, you may rule that it is inappropriate, but then the member is not present, and you can't take it up again at the next meeting. So what sort of procedures have we got here? Can we not invite the person involved to return? I think you recall that last time Julius Ho made the most offensive comment. I did invite him to come back to retract the remark. I did ask him to withdraw his comment. I once again invite Julius Ho to return to withdraw his earlier remark, which is most offensive. Sorry, Charles Moore, I can't mandate it on him. It's up to a member to make up his mind. If he decides against coming back for the rest of the meeting, there's nothing I can do. Chair, please put up with me and let me say once again, I think Junius Ho's comments are indeed exceedingly offensive. I've written to the EOC, the Law Society, etc. And in fact, I've also initiated the process to censure him, because indeed it is a very serious case. As to the Gary Fan case, I have reason to believe that he is not going to issue a letter to censure Anne Zhang within the meeting. But then she's trying to be clever with her words, and she's trying to play antics verbally in this in this conference room, thinking that she can get away with it. Well, in my case, I can do something about it, but for what she has done, there's nothing we can do. So do we allow such clownish behavior to go on, and that we find it a totally helpless situation? Mr. Tony Chair, I heard Claudia. She mentioned the so-called establishment camp. I would like to ask her to clarify whether she was being specific about a particular member when she mentioned the so-called establishment camp. Well, when she talked about the establishment camp, maybe she included many members. So, would you like her to clarify? I have no time to entertain such sort of frivolous allegations. and allegations without any substance. Well, Mr. Leung Chi-cheng talked about the pandemics, and then a whole group of people aired their grievance. Presiding Chairman, you at that time made a ruling. I'll invite you to watch the videotape. Well, as to the case of Leung Chi-cheng, last time he said that those who took part in the election were trying to put up a show. So he was querying the motive of the candidates. I ruled that it is against the ROP. So that's what happened. Now you want to watch the videotape in relation to Claudia Mo's allegation, in relation to the so-called pro-establishment camp. All right, a break of 15 minutes.